Are there any common Roosevelt dimes worth $10,000 that you can find in your pocket change? Not likely, but you might find them in your stack or your collections or in some original rolls or maybe a mint set. Stay tuned to find out what I'm talking about. So here is a 1965 Roosevelt dime. Okay. Now, these are common. You can still find rolls of these BU. If you found one in mint state 68, and it has to be graded by PCGS, it has a high retail of $12.50. If it has full band lines, $4,000. Now, I don't know about you, but I doubt there's very many people out there sending off 1965 Roosevelt dimes. They're very common, easy to find. Same thing with the 66, the 67s. They're not worth as much as the 65 because they're not as rare with full band lines, because they're not as rare with full band lines as the 1965. But you can scroll down and look at all these dimes that are really common. I mean, they're clad, and you can find them in mint sets. You can still find these in rolls. The bottom line is, though, you might have this roll that looks pristine and perfect to you, but if you don't have experience grading coins and sending coins off for grading, you are probably going to be extremely disappointed. This is the reason why. You don't know how to grade. They just look great to you. You don't see coins very much, and a shiny coin just looks pretty to you. I hear this a lot. What you have to do, if you are looking for a 68, and you know you can't afford a 68, the whole reason why you want to find it is to make some money. You probably don't have this money. But at least a 67, potentially without the full band lines on them, you can buy for $75. Now, the reason I say to do that, buy 2 or 3 if you can afford it, then you have an actual 67 in your hands. As you're looking through rolls of the other dimes, or any dime for that matter here, you can actually use that 3D example to look through your coins. And when you find one you think looks the same or better, and once you get so many coins together, maybe 5 or 10, then you can send them off to PCGS and see how good you did. Then you'll have some more examples if you didn't do very well doing it that way. This is how you build on top of knowledge. Okay? This is how you build on top of your grading skills. That way, you don't just open up a roll, you think you found your collection that had been stored for 50 years and think that it's going to be worth something because it's original. That doesn't always pan out. Most of the time it doesn't pan out. I know, trust me, I open up original rolls all the time. I look through coins. I see marks on them, and I just don't feel like they'll meet the standards. You know, maybe I'll take a couple of BU rolls and send them off bulk submission. It's cheaper that way. And then I've got all these examples. It's no different than what I have right now in stock on the website. I have all these quarters that are 67, 68. You know, if you need to know how to grade a quarter, a modern quarter, those are perfect examples. And I can use them. I can look at them, and you'll see inconsistencies and different things, but you're still going to see a pattern for that 67 and for that 68. And that's the best way of doing it. But if you come over here to PCGS Price Guide and you take a look at all these values and see which ones are most valuable, maybe you have a roll of these. Maybe you want to go through them and send them off. But I do recommend using a 3D coin that's already graded so you have an idea, whether it's ANACS or just anything. And the more the merrier, even if you have to go to a coin show or a coin shop and kind of examine them, maybe ask if you take some pictures or something. But you definitely need to learn how to grade coins by actual coins, not photo grade. Photo grade will help you a little bit, but photo grade's more for grades mint state and under. Now, you can look also at the silver dimes, same thing with the 64s. I mean, look at these coins. They're thousands of dollars retail, but they're registry coins. So these coins, there may only be one that's graded that high, maybe 2 at the most. And then there might be a plus grade now recently that came out. You never know. You'd have to click on it and check out the population reports. It's no different than this, a 61D dime worth $10,000 because it has full band lines. I mean, let's take a look at the population here to see what it's showing. Because, I mean, if you, 61D is, the roll is easy to find. But obviously, it's rare in that grade. But if you got lucky, I mean, you'd have to get lucky. But if you did, you would have a nice little payday. So we got a 67 plus. We have 168. So this is the main right here. 1 in population, 8 in 67 plus. And that's not too shabby either, and neither is this. I mean, it's worth the grading fees if you have a 67, but it has to have those full band lines. Very important that it has to be in its PCGS holder too. So will you be the next 68 for a 1961D? Like I said, these dimes, they're kind of overlooked, but to me, you can find rolls of some of these and just test your own metal. Don't, you can tell dealers all day long, I got this great roll, what should I do, and all this. No one can tell you that. You need to go through them and try to grade them yourself. There's examples over here. There's examples on Heritage too. I know if you can't afford to buy, but I recommend if you get a 61D without the full bands, okay, it's cheaper. You can buy that, and I'll show you. We'll take a look at what the price is. You can get a 67 because even though it's not worth the big money, you're looking for a coin that's a little bit better. So for $110 or even a 66 and 20, and you're looking for a coin that looks a little bit better and with the, obviously full band lines again. So you can take a look over here, and it's amazing some of these dimes, and these dimes are really overlooked. These people don't like Roosevelt dimes very well. I mean, some people do, but most people do not. It's not a huge high collectible. It's usually a 90% silver thing, a constitutional stacker's delight, whatever you want to call it, because a lot of them went to the refinery. But if you can find a nice original roll, potentially you could go through them. Personally, I've passed up on them myself, so I know that most dealers do that. And maybe I made a mistake. You start looking at some of these prices, maybe you start getting a little bit closer. It's a time factor for me too. It takes a lot of time to do this, and I'm more apt to have a couple original rolls and just throw them in a bulk submission and be done with it and let them decide what grades they are. But then you're going to get a lot of lower grades. You're going to have to put, when you do the bulk submission, you have to put down the lowest grade you accept. So I guess you put 63 on it, and you can see how much a 63 is worth, probably about the grading fee right here. But maybe it's an idea for the future for me. So hopefully this helped you a little bit. Maybe look through your dimes, get your rolls out, maybe look for original rolls. Thanks for watching my latest video. Please hit that sub button and have a great day.